Children will understand the importance of being happy. That is what education is. So I believe very strongly, if you really, really believe in something and if you have an action plan, वो हमेशा आपका achieve होएगा. So dream true होती है if you really believe in them.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Great Principles. I am Seema Chhoriya. I bring to you another renowned figure from the world of Indian academia. I consider teaching as one of the most noble and respected vocation and the greatest public service ever. To serve through teaching is ensuring we nurture our future generations, not only for themselves, but also for the progress of the country and definitely the world too. My distinguished guest of today is an outstanding school leader who upholds the core value of education. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Shalini Nambiar, Director Principal, Seth Anandram Jaipuria School, Vasundhara, Ghaziabad. Welcome to Great Principles, ma'am. It's an honor to have you. We are so excited for an insightful session with you.
Thank you so much. And I'm also equally excited. Actually, being in the school, you become very young. That's one crazy thing, which is like people don't realize. I'm very excited and thank you for such a warm welcome.
Wonderful, ma'am. So let us start where it all started. So once upon a time, you were into an aviation-related career, yes. And it seems like life took a 360-degree turn from sky to the school walls and with the beautiful children. So it's like kahani mein twist aa gaya.
Yeah, so, yeah. So ये जो twist होता है ना, ये crazy लोगों के साथ ही होता है, and I call myself actually crazy because I think I like to do things which my heart says,
Absolutely, and I think only crazy people can be the change maker. हम ही कुछ बदलाव ला सकते हैं. Otherwise, जो सीधे हैं वो बस सीधे ही रहेंगे, कुछ crazy नहीं करेंगे.
Right.
And change is always looked upon as crazy by people at times, but then we realized it was needed. So let us begin by knowing what incident led you to become an educator.
So it's a very funny incident, बहुत अच्छी life चल रही थी, अच्छी सी salary थी, सब कुछ अच्छा था. But what happened when I had my daughter and I was looking for schools for admission. और उस समय Delhi में getting admission means interview process, पहले आप ये करो, वो करो. And I used to think पैसे भी मेरे, बच्चा भी मेरा, interview भी मेरा. I mean, what the hell, I want to interview the principal. So I thought कि अगर किसी चीज को आपने change करना है, the best thing is to get inside it, right? So I said, chalo, let's become a teacher. And I still remember when I came back and told my family, my husband thought I was crazy. बस divorce होने से बच गया क्योंकि उन्हें का दिमाग खराब है एक teacher. And that time you wouldn't believe my salary as a teacher was 1,500 rupees. तो जब मैंने कहा अगर system को change करना है तो आपको you have to get inside the system, and that's what I did. So when I applied for the teaching job, and I remember I had no qualification, no B.Ed, nothing. So मेरे को जब इंटरव्यू के टाइम पूछा गया आप क्या करेंगे, मैंने कहा सर मैं बहुत कुछ कर सकती हूँ, गाना गा सकती हूँ, ये कर सकती हूँ. And that's how I started my journey as a music teacher, actually. And I loved each bit of it. And education ना एक दलदल की तरह है, जब आप घुस जाते हैं उसमें, people who are really passionate about children cannot come out, because you can see the difference you're making to our society. And I think that's why I always say, take up this profession if you love the kids. Don't think of it as कि चलो आधा दिन का नौकरी है, घर बैठे हैं, चलो teacher बन जाए. No. This job is not for you at all. Because you can make a difference to a child, you can harm a child's life. So it involves a lot of responsibility. So I have had fun, I've just loved. अगर कोई आप आज पूछें कि आप क्या बनना चाहेंगी again in your next birth, the usual question, I would love to be a teacher,
Wow. So don't you miss the sky?
I miss the sky. So I traveled. And, I traveled a lot. In fact, I've traveled all over the world and done a lot of crazy things. And that gave me actually a flavor of what international education is about. हम यहाँ पे एक rote learning सिखाते हैं, सारे बच्चों को इकट्ठा बिठा के एक ही तरीके से. But there's a lot of different ways of teaching. So it gave me an exposure to that. और बहुत अच्छा लगा. ट्रैवलिंग इज माय पैशन. अगर आज भी आप मुझे दे 1 करोड़ रुपए और आप पूछें क्या करेंगे, मैं कहूंगी आई विल ओपन अ स्कूल मे बी, बट आई विल आल्सो ट्रैवल.
Incredible journey, and it was really fun to hear the way you narrated it, how you landed up in this profession. I was, putting up myself in the same situation when I was looking for my children's school's
Yeah,
admission.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know and yes, ma'am rightly said, teacher, being a teacher is a huge responsibility. Once
Absolutely.
teacher for a lifetime, because it really impacts the life of children. After
Yeah,
parents, it's the teacher, those who have most impact on child.
yeah,
So yes,
yeah,
our teacher have to shoulder this
yeah.
huge responsibility of not only teaching, in fact, being the mentor, being the friend, being the philosopher, the guide, everything for the child. So great to
Absolutely.
know that people like you are there who want to be teacher in the next birth. Also,
Yeah.
given the fact that our teachers are not treated so well, we are not
Uh-huh.
paid well, and still
Yeah.
you want to be. So this truly deserves an applaud that we have such passionate teacher like you today also.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Going ahead
Yeah.
in our conversation, ma'am, as we were discussing about teaching, so teaching is not, running a school, and teaching is not a one as a one person show. It's all about give and take. It's about the team. It's about how you deliver, how you make your lesson plans, and how involved is the management with the teachers and students. So how can educators and school leaders ensure learning when imparted is impactful?
See, it is very, very important. So what happens in schools, teachers are given a lot of mundane tasks. हम और भूल जाते हैं हम कि जो स्कूल का कोर है, school can run without a principal. Let me be very candid, but school cannot run without a teacher. So you need to first understand कि teacher की जगह वही है जो एक गुरु के लिए हम बोलते थे. And if the teacher, how the learning can be imparted is when you provide them with professional development, when you provide them, because you don't sometimes with the passion जो होता है ना वो हमेशा success is not about money. Success is about how I have improved myself from what I was yesterday. So it's very important that we give them the right environment. We allow them to teach. Actually, हम उनको पढ़ाने तो देते नहीं है. उनको इतना पेपर वर्क दे देते हैं कि वो टीचर्स पढ़ाना कम और रिपोर्टिंग ज्यादा करती हैं. So you need to, as a school, as an organization, you need to balance that out. That आपका जब teaching time है, you focus on that. You are empowered. Most important thing is empower the teachers. अगर किसी को आप एम्पावर करेंगे तो वो अपना बेस्ट निकाल के लाएगा. They're going to do the best. Give them time to know the children. Allow them to innovate. Allow them to create. Don't give them a standard कि ये किताब है बस ये पूरी chapter 1 से chapter 20 पढ़ा दो और बस वो वही करते हैं. Forget about the child. No. You need to not go chapter wise. You need to focus more on the child. You need to remember there is a difference between turning out literate people and turning out educated people. And sadly, the fact is that we have more literate people than educated people because हम values को भूल जाते हैं, हम life skills को भूल जाते हैं. So it is very important as a school, when you open a school, the first thing is, am I empowering my teachers? Am I walking the talk? जो मैं चाहती हूँ कि teacher class में करे, first I have to do that with her. If I'm not empowering her, she will not empower the kids. If I'm going to be shouting at her, she will do the same thing because we follow what we see. So you have to create a very, like I've just joined this organization. The first thing I did was, because for me it's very important, created an happiness team. A team of teachers, and I asked for volunteers. उनका खाली एक job है ये देखना है कि किसी के चेहरे पे कभी शिकन ना आए. Everybody should be happy. Because I want that after a year you walk into my school and you see happy children, happy parents, happy teachers. आप सोचो अगर खुशी है जिसके जो सबसे cheap है उसके लिए कोई पैसे नहीं लगते. You're going to turn around the lives of children. Children will understand the importance of being happy. That is what education is. So I think that is very important, empowering teachers and giving them the ability to innovate and create in the classrooms.
Certainly, ma'am, completely agree with you. And you very rightly said that we are stuck, our teachers, in the mundane task of reporting. Yeah. They have lost their creativity. They have become robots, just deliver the lesson and go ahead. So when we, just give them a little free time, give them the time to be creative, to more interactive, they will make the classroom more interesting and have time to know each child personally.
Yeah. And, the training should be focused on developing their skills, their talent. Every teacher is talented. Try and understand them. हम क्या करते हैं, जैसे when I do the induction of the teacher, I show them one video which I have. It's called the Teddy's Story. वो इतना ब्यूटीफुल वीडियो है 6 मिनट का कि जो भी टीचर नई ज्वाइन करेगी वो पहले तो रोएगी उसको देख के. because that is the teacher. You have to set the bar very high, and you have to tell them that, listen, you are free to do what you want, but learning outcome hona chahiye class mein, planning aapki perfect honi chahiye. Give them time for planning. You know, unplanned teacher is actually going to fail. You know, so go with a plan. What will I do in 5 minutes? What will I do in 10 minutes? Like with this session, I had to have a plan. Na? You have a plan. Otherwise, to hum chalte jayenge 2 ghanta. You know, we can talk so much. So these are very important, I think, you know, to ensure that learning takes place in the classroom.
Yeah, and you very rightly said that you need to ensure that your colleagues are growing with you, your teachers
Yeah.
are growing with you.
Yeah.
So growth is important for everyone. We all look for career growth. We all look for upskilling ourselves, and that is how we can be create a change in the mindset of teacher
Sure.
also to help her to deliver her best. And yes, ma'am, teachers are talented.
Sure.
We saw them during this pandemic how wonderfully they switched to the virtual world.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I wrote a whole big post, you know, when there was a group of parents who were going around, nothing is happening. And I've been talking very openly about that. There has been no learning loss नहीं आप बोल सकते. It has been an academic loss. Learning तो बहुत हुई है pandemic में. We have learned so much. The children have learned so much. They've become smarter. They know how to bunk a class, being in the class. So that's being smart, right? That's one of the skills. And I don't think so. We need to say that there has been a complete loss. Of course not. There has been an academic loss, understood, but that one can cover it up. But जो learning हुई है ना, it is lifelong.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with you too, ma'am. Now going ahead in our conversation, ma'am, your list of achievements is inexhaustible and I can't just go on sharing all those things. So I would have like to know one thing from you. Should educators and education system be blamed for the dismissal picture of learning and learners? What is your take on this?
Of course, we are responsible for the way we have created, the why. So if you let's go back to the time, ancient times. India में कैसे education होती थी? एक गुरुकुल होता था यहाँ एक the education began in the temples, right? And जो गुरु होता था वो सारी skills सिखाता था. If you go to Mahabharata times, and there was yoga, there was activity, there was education, and that is what the West followed. We lost it somewhere in our hurry to ape the West. हमने बच्चों को ties पहना दिया, हमने बच्चों को like in my time when I went to school, I had probably 1 book per subject. Now children have 6 books per subject, right? So where have we taken our education system? Are we trying to turn out a society which is literate with no values? कि कोई मर रहा है सड़क में हम help नहीं करते हैं? So we deserve this. We deserve this kind of society we have got. We need to reflect as educators कि हम जो बोल रहे हैं, are we doing that in the classroom? Am I empowering my teachers? Am I making them happy? Am I taking care of my student? Am I, I want to share कि अब मेरे स्कूल में 5,000 plus बच्चे हैं. And you wouldn't believe, today only I've started this exercise. I'm going to meet all the 5,000 parents online, virtually, one-on-one. Possible hai. Report cards, 3,000 report cards, मैंने अपने हाथ से sign करे हैं. Because I want the children to see that closeness. It's very easy to put a stamp and give it to the kids. So you have to do something to, let's go back to those times where education was valued, where Indian education was at a peak. And I think, with the NEP coming, जो वो changes suggest कर रहे हैं, I hope we are able to do it, which of course to me honestly looks a far cry because we are not ready. The teachers have not been trained yet. The leadership is not trained yet. कितने लोगों ने document पूरा पढ़ा है, I'm not aware. But what I'm saying is we need to make a great change. हमारा focus होना चाहिए कि जो learning outcome है. Like, let me give you an example. In English, there are 4 skills you're supposed to teach: reading, writing, listening, and speaking, right? But I say that most of the schools teach reading and writing. हम listening and speaking to सिखाते ही नहीं है. We don't teach children to listen. We don't allow them to speak. If they make a noise, we say, shut up and sit down. So we need to change our education system and try and ape what we were doing earlier, where we were giving personalized attention, focusing on the life skills and subjects, as NEP has said, it has to be interdisciplinary. मैं एक एग्जाम्पल बहुत अच्छा देती हूँ. आप जब मटर पनीर खाती हैं तो आप ये तो नहीं ना पनीर अलग खाती हैं, प्याज अलग, अदरक अलग, you mix it together, you make a good vegetable, right? And then you eat it. तभी आप relish करती हैं. तो हम subjects क्यों ऐसे पढ़ाते हैं, English अलग, Hindi अलग? Why can't we just, that's what NEP says. पर हम करने को तैयार क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि उसमें एफर्ट है, उसमें आपकी बहुत प्लानिंग करनी पड़ेगी आपको to link all the subjects. So I think we need to take the responsibility, and we need to, and I'm happy to see that there are a lot of educators who are trying to make a difference and come out and bring about a change, which is commendable, which is commendable.
No, ma'am. So I think NEP also, and we all are bringing back the Gurukul system, where all children, provided whatever is their age, were given all the life skills. They were taught everything, and they were, studying in the Gurukul under the same banner, same roof, and getting all the guidance. So you rightly said कि best की copy करने में हमने हमारा ही treasure खो दिया. So that is what is needed. We need to bring back that system of teaching where gurus were actually respected to the core and everything was followed as they said.
Like
and
you ask a child, you ask a child, he'll know more about, an English author rather than Gita and Mahabharata, and that is our culture. That is our, which we need to imbibe the value system.
Yeah, absolutely. So we need to have a value-based education along with the guidance given by NEP. And yes, I think, ma'am, when we are not given any choice, that is when we all strive to make the effort and make whatever is happening. Like जैसे pandemic में जब choice ही नहीं थी, तो सबने virtual education से adapt कर लिया. Similarly, अगर choice नहीं रही, तो probably it's very much possible that NEP can be implemented the way it has to be. It's like, when we are given choice, we all try to see where we have to do less work. I think that could be one thing.
We are more in a comfort zone, hum comfort se nikal. And I always tell even the children, I'm very clear कि average life मत lead करो. या तो do something really good that you're successful, या किसी का murder कर दो, notorious हो जाओ, कहीं तो नाम तो हो ना. मतलब what do you need to reflect as a human being? What do I want to be written on my epitaph? लोग मुझे कैसे याद रखें? Did I make a difference? Did I touch somebody's life? I always tell parents, don't ask your children homework kara ki nahi, copy bhari ki nahi. Ask your children, did you help somebody today in the class? We need to build that society, which we all hope for. पर हम क्यों नहीं build कर पा रहे? क्योंकि हम marks के race में पड़े हुए हैं, we are just focusing on 90. Wow, very good. But 90% sometimes are roaming around without jobs, So it is, you need to focus academic. There are some children who are academically inclined. Okay, bring them up, work on them. But there are children who have different talents, Every child cannot be a topper. Every child cannot be. So we need to focus on each child. I think then we'll be able to change not only our education system, but also bring about a change in the society as a whole, create a happy society.
Absolutely, extremely thought-provoking and eye-opening statements used by ma'am here, and I completely agree with it. Yes, that you just don't talk about ki ye badlo, wo badlo. Be the change yourself. Step ahead and take a step today. That is today. If you have
kids. So I'll give you an example. We had the other day parent orientation या कुछ छोटे बच्चों का program था. अब वो छोटे-छोटे बच्चे और उनके parents, young parents, 30s में होंगे, with little kids, they are sitting, and suddenly the compere announced, now the director principal is going to speak. अब मैंने कहा मैं इन बच्चों को क्या बोलूं? मैंने कहा I'm going to sing a song, and I sang a song. So as a leader, you need to be daring. You need to be, I always say there are 3 skills. You need to be caring, and you need to be sharing, and you need to just go do what your heart says, what is correct, then only people will follow. And you could see the difference. The children started, shaking because they were enjoying it. They can connect with me otherwise. Otherwise, they wouldn't, if I'd given a speech, they won't connect with me.
Absolutely. So, at times it is important to understand what kind of audience you have and switch according to that. That is another leadership trait that needs to be there. So great, ma'am. So let me move on to the next question now.
Yeah, sure.
Many a time I've heard and, say that it's very lonely at times to be at the leadership position. At times you're just sitting alone in your cabin. So tell me one thing, whom do you look up to you for your advice, support, and inspiration, an educationist?
God. I have had a lot of mentors. If I start taking the names and if I miss out one, it'll be wrong. But, I've worked in at least 5-6 organizations, and, I have learned a lot from each person. I've learned a lot from children. I've learned a lot from my bosses. I've learned a lot from teachers, because for me, it's a learning journey. Every day, every minute, you are learning from somebody. I'm learning from you right now. So, I don't really have somebody who I look up to, but if you really ask me, then I think I look up to my dad, and my mom who gave birth to me, otherwise I wouldn't be there. They are responsible for all the things they did, and main paida ho gayi. And I'm grateful to my husband, because of whom I've been able to climb the ladder, because somewhere he supported, at home. So I think for me, it's a learning journey. I've learned from each individual at every, step of my life. My daughter, my son, at the moment, I think my daughter and my son, they inspire me, they tell me you're wrong, it's that generation now. So it's a learning journey, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for a person like you who believes to follow your heart, just follow your heart and keep doing the right thing and believe in Almighty, this would have been an answer. Great. So on this note, we reach to the very interesting segment of the show. This is called Rapid Fire Round. Okay. You have to answer in one word or a statement.
Okay. Ready.
All right.
I'm feeling I'm in a KBC without the cash award.
All right, wonderful. Here goes the first question. Tell us about a funny or a weird incident in your life.
A funny incident in my life. So there have been, one word. Bunking college. Bunking college gates.
All right.
So I bunked from the hostel. We bunked, and we used to go to GK to eat chaat. I was in LSR. And the next day we were gated. Gated means you're punished, right? Then again, we'll bunk because we thought again gate ho jayenge. So yeah, that's a funny moment because it was fun at that time.
All right. Which was your last book you read and that had an impact on you?
Secret. The Secret. That's my favorite book. I can reread again and again and again, because it has really impacted my life. And I strongly believe that you need to be very positive. आपको बहुत confidence होना चाहिए अपने में, और जिस पे आप विश्वास करते हो ना, वो आपको जरूर मिलेगा. Those Shahrukh Khan's lines, किसी चीज को अगर आप दिल से चाहो तो सारी कायनात लग जाती है. And I really feel it's true, because I'll tell you a little incident. So when I was in the school, we used to have these books, Mills and Boons and Barbara Cartland, and उसमें एक gondola का बहुत description होता था. And I used to dream sitting on a gondola. And at that time, my dad was a middle class government servant. हमारे पास इतने पैसे भी नहीं थे कि we can go to Timbuktu, forget about going and sitting on a gondola. But my dream did come true, And when I sat on the gondola, I really cried. So I believe very strongly, if you really, really believe in something and if you have an action plan, वो हमेशा आपका achieve होएगा. But आप true रहो अपने से, believe करो, don't have a plan B. कि अगर ये नहीं हुआ तो ये कर लेंगे. Then you have already, accepted that plan A is not good enough for me. So I really believe.
I agree with you, ma'am, because I'm a strong believer and follower of this book, and it actually changed my life. Yeah. I had what I wanted, and as you said, I was so focused that yes, I want this and only this. Every day, I reassured myself that I will get it, and at the end, I got it. So to all my viewers, this book really, really works. Yeah. So go ahead and fulfill all your desires. Just be focused and with all the positive vibes. Yeah. Coming on to the next question, since you mentioned me twice that you sang the beautiful song, so I would like you to sing us a few lines of your favorite song.
My favorite, okay. Raindrops and roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown pickup packets tied in a string. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, ooh, and the bee stings, and I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad.
Beautiful. You really sing beautifully and you express so nicely with those actions and expression. Amazing. It's so good to see a school leader narrating so beautifully, and the way the kids connect. Very nice. Going ahead to the next question, dancing is a healthy and fun way to exercise. True or false?
True. Absolutely. I can dance the whole night.
All right. Yeah. The last vacation destination you traveled to?
Last vacation destination before COVID, Dubai. I lost.
All right. So what is the favorite part of Dubai?
I love shopping. Window shopping.
You love shopping. All right. And yes, Dubai is a shopping destination and every shopper's dream destination again.
Yeah. But if you ask me, my favorite place in my life, which I traveled to, is Australia. I just loved it. because there's no people, it's like so empty. So yeah, Europe, there's a lot of favorite places of mine. And I was really planning now that I'm going to travel, and then COVID happened. So my suitcase is crying actually, you know.
Hoping that you travel again and learn from the world and let this whole learning be imparted again to your students. Wonderful. It was great to know you in this segment. This makes me reach to the last question of the show, which is also called Viewer's Choice Question.
Sure.
So my viewers throw me a lot of questions, and this is the one which I have picked for you. They
Yeah.
say that good teaching is much about passion as it is about reason. It's about not only motivating students to learn, but also teaching how to learn, and doing so in manner that is relevant, meaningful, and memorable. So as a school leader, how are you achieving your vision of making learning meaningful and relevant?
So, very interesting question, because that's really close to my heart. Just want to start with one thing. I'm sure you've done probability in math in school days, right? And I also did, right? But nobody told me why I need to study it. Why is it relevant? So when my daughter was getting married, and when we issued the cards and to order the food, then I realized why we were taught probability, like how many people will come. So what is very important to make learning meaningful is to relate it to real life, you know, to tell the children why you need to study this. Generally you ask a student, why are you studying history? And if he doesn't know the answer, that means he has no idea. He's just studying to clear an exam. So letting them know why I am studying this exam, how will it help me? I mean, this subject, and how will it help me in life? And connecting everything to real life. Like, I'll give you an example. Everybody studies about thermometer in school, right? 80% people cannot see the mercury in that old style thermometer. And I think that's why we have the digital one. So our education is so unrelated to real life, unrelated to community around you. You know, so it's I think very important to make learning meaningful, to make relate everything to the real life, like maybe when you're studying shapes, let the children walk around and study the shapes of the leaves, and create and link it with art class, creating a collage there, link it with music class where you create songs of art, link it with history, how the shapes actually were used in Mahabharat times, if you talk about the chakra view and all that. So it is all about sitting and planning, because learning can be only meaningful, not if you have matar paneer alag alag, but if you have a sabji together, because it is much more fun. It makes an impact. Like, I may not be good in math, but I may be very good in English. So when you are interlinking the subjects, it helps in me developing those skills. So I think it's very, very important that relate it to real life, make it experiential. If you're teaching them about anything, see how you can relate it. I've seen some teachers, who make it so meaningful, the class, who have a lot of questions. you know Generally we are used to giving as teachers answers. But if you want to really make a child creative, ask him a lot of questions, because when you ask, then the child is also encouraged to ask a lot of questions, like a simple stupid thing like, how many stars are there in the sky? Have you ever asked in the class? Well, I've done it as a teacher. I have, when I was a teacher a long time back, I would teach Indus Valley civilization. I would wear those chunk jewelry and go, so that they could relate to it. I taught Gandhi. I would wear that skull cap and, teach them. So you need to make your learning which fun, engaging, experiential, रियल लाइफ से कनेक्ट करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं. अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं, आप भी पढ़ी होंगी स्कूल में कि आपने बायोलॉजी क्यों पढ़ी, तो अगर आपको नहीं पता है तो इसका मतलब योर एजुकेशन वाज इनकम्प्लीट. सो दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मी.
Absolutely. I think I had a very interesting guest on my show. She was a passionate geography teacher earlier. So she told me that for people, geography is a very dry subject. But if you ask me, I say that geography is in every day of your life. What you wear, what you eat, what you do. So if we relate like this, as you also mentioned, that when you relate to children, that why you need to study a particular subject, that is why then that is when they're more interested. So to all my viewers, I think you must have got your answer, that we have to definitely at times we fail to make education relevant because we are just in a hurry to complete the syllabus, and our children just think that, all right, just let me finish, learn it and just pass the exam. So yes, we need to make that change. We need to ensure that our children know why they're learning, and teachers need to share with children why they need to understand this subject, this concept, how it would be relevant and how they can apply it in their real life. Ultimately, what is education? application of your learning, right? And that is what we are missing on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like I always say, if I give a map to children and ask them to go from, let's say, Delhi to Chennai, following that map, most of the children, having studied geography, will not be able to relate. They will not know the north, east, west. But if you look at the foreigners, you see them having that map. And so it's very important, I think, to relate it to real life. And for that, my message to the education community is pause, relax, breathe karo. कोई जल्दी नहीं है, सब बच्चे सीख जाएंगे. And let's try and develop their talent. Let's try and take out what is within them. Let's try and make knowledge meaningful for them. That we create a society which is positive, happy, eager to help others, and not there to pull each other down. So I think we are responsible for creating that.
Absolutely, and I really feel proud when I have educators like you who are so passionate. And I'm sure that all the changes that we are expecting will definitely have with people like you around. And it was an absolutely delightful conversation. I loved your approach of, narrating the whole incidents, and your thoughts, your vision, everything is extremely worth and valued. And I'm sure my viewers are going to get a lot of insights from this conversation. So thank you so much for your time with us. It was great privilege for me to interview you today.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you.